What is going on, guys? It's PokePond back with another video for you. We've got so much to talk about today. We will get into the unveiling of the new Gen 10 Pokemon and what that means for Sealed. However, we'll do that a little bit later on in the episode because we've got more pressing things to talk about. We are seeing some crazy price breakouts on the Sealed modern market right now. You know we're going to dissect everything, get into everything, and make our recommendations for what you should be buying right now. Make sure you subscribe down below to never miss an opportunity. Let's get into it. Once again, it's my favorite time of the week. Let's have a look at some of the sealed prices and everything going on. Before I start the episode, I do need to premise that there is a lot of talk online that we had the unveiling of the new Gen 10 Pokemon, which does kind of mean that we're going to get a Gen 10 era probably coming in 2027. I will talk about that more and in more detail and what that means for the sealed product later on in the episode, kind of halfway through the video, mainly just because I didn't want that to be the focus of this video, but I will briefly go over it later on. I much prefer talking about sealed product, what's happening with prices, and what's happening with prices right now as well. And there's so much going on in the market right now. I just want to jump straight in and let's start talking about Ascended Heroes. So, Ascended Heroes. Elite Trainer boxes coming down in price a little bit, which is kind of what we expected to see. It is still performing very well out of the gate. The sort of reduction in price on the ETBs was predictable. I had a lot of people pre-release trying to ask me, oh, do you think this is a good price to sort of pre-order at a massive premium? They would talk about like $140, $150, that kind of range. And I said, no. I said, wait till the product's out. Personally, with any product at all, I don't care how rare it is, whatever, I am never pre-ordering for a premium price. I'm never paying a presumed market value before the product's always out. And that's something super important. Yes, you're not going to pay MSRP on the secondary market for a product like this on release, but there's a good chance that it will be less than what the pre-order assumed market value is, and that's what we're seeing here. We're seeing prices come back down into line with what we would expect to see. Last week it was averaging $122 on TCG Player. Now it's like $112. You can get some better deals on eBay at the moment as well. Full disclosure, I don't think it's going to drop much below that. So if you do want to move into the Ascended Heroes Elite Trainer boxes and stuff like that, I don't think this is a bad price point to pick them up at, especially given the current situation and market environment we have with basically just a lack of printing to demand. They can't keep supply up with demand. Ascended Heroes is a good set. I've never said that it's a bad set. I've just said that be cautious moving into it early. Me, I'm slowly drip feeding into it at the moment. I have opened up ETBs and stuff like that. I just opened up a mini tin last night as well. I bought a PC ETB though because it was a good price and instantly jumped up in price. So glad I got that. I expected it to go up in price because it's, you know, a in-demand desirable item. I like moving into PC ETBs early on speciality sets, and I don't buy a lot of them. That's an important distinction. I think people get confused sometimes because I've said in the past not to buy PC ETBs. Now, it's not that they're a bad investment, it is that they are a more volatile investment, especially if you're paying way over MSRP early into them on release. They're not a bad product at all to invest into, they're just higher risk. Just because PC ETBs have performed very well in recent times doesn't mean that Pokemon Company International can't just print a load of them all of a sudden. That is a very likely possibility. Just because it hasn't happened so far doesn't mean it won't. The reason why I'm super cautious as well into PC ETBs, and I only tend to buy one or two of them, is because a lot of people got caught in 2019 to 2020 with normal ETBs. That was before PC ETBs were super popular. I believe you had. Did PC ETBs, when did they actually start? I don't know. I didn't move into them until a couple of years ago. But anyway, 2019, 2020, everyone thought that normal ETBs were the hottest thing. Okay. This is my problem with some of the big American PokeTubers. I won't name many names, but some of them back in 2019, 2020, as a long time ago now, were telling everyone, buy ETBs, they're the best sealed investment, they're more of a collectible piece, they display well, no one's going to want booster boxes in the future, they're boring, booster boxes are purely just for pack to cost ratio, and they pivoted when they were wrong. Okay, there's a lot of people in this industry who make bold claims and then they end up being wrong and they're not accountable for it. Certain people in particular, and I'm talking about people from years ago, certain people in particular also then turned their back and started being very vocal that anyone who buys sealed product is ruining the hobby. So I have a big problem with people saying that kind of thing. I think that sealed product as a whole has grown into its own collector's space. It's not all about investing and making money. Yes, on a Venn diagram, there is some crossover on that. But me, I've always been a sealed collector. I enjoy the sealed product as a whole. And that's why I won't buy into certain products. I will never buy into stuff like Battle Styles or Paradox Rift because I don't like it. And it's not all about what the best opportunity is money-wise. It's about what I want in my collection as well. Anyway, we're going off on a massive tangent again. Anyone who has been around on the channel for a while knows that I can go off onto these tangents. Honestly, it's just because I love talking about Pokemon and I'm so passionate about it, and having this platform is just a fantastic opportunity. Like, I love being able to just sit here and rant on, and I love that you guys enjoy it as well. And we've got so many subscribers on the channel. If you're new down below and you like this kind of video and like someone just giving you the raw take on not only what's going on with sealed product and sealed pricing, but also the more of the history and the backstory of what people aren't telling you about what happened with sealed product back in 2018, back in 2019. And that's why I can more accurately predict some of these figures, because I've been doing this for a long time. Anyway, 112 ETBs, Ascended Heroes right now. I did say the other week that I think that you'll see an odd few sales around $100. We are seeing that on eBay right now. Last sold eBay, new listing tag. I'm not surprised it's new listing tag. It got bought out straight away because it's a really good price. $100, you can scoop them up on eBay if you're lucky. Market those about 110, 112. You're seeing another auction yesterday going for 110. Like I said, don't think like that's a bad price point to buy into it. Me personally, I'm not going wild on the ETBs. I'm going to wait until the end of April. I know, end of April. Another 2 months until we get the booster bundles. And then I'll move into the booster bundles on release, not on pre-order. And then I'll start buying into it as everyone's dumping it and scalping it. And we should get some good deals then. And some good pack to cost ratios that are much cheaper than the ETBs. Like I said, I did buy a PC ETB. It's on the shelf behind me. That's not it. That is a cracked one there that I've opened up, but it's off camera. There is a PC ETB there. So yeah, I'm slowly drip feeding into it, but I'm opening more than I'm keeping sealed at the moment. I think it's a cool set. I'm enjoying opening it. I've not hit anything crazy yet. But yeah, I'm enjoying it. I'm waiting for the bundles to come out to buy a lot more of it. Here in the UK, average market price right now is around about 80 to 85 quid. And then look at this, PC E2B is up to 214 already, sold this morning on a new listing tag. And there was another one here, let's see, I swear I saw another one this morning, 203, I swear I saw one go for like 240. But anyway, kind of crazy. I bought it for 140 last week, so it was a crazy deal. I couldn't not buy it. I actually travelled across my city to go and buy it. It was such a good deal. Anyway, let's move on. Phantasmal Flames. Talking about people being wrong about sets, how many people told you that Phantasmal Flames was a bad set? How many people told you that it was a short set and the Charizards won't be enough to carry that set? Well, those people were all wrong. What more can I say? I mean, why you would ever pay for a paid Discord for someone like that, I do not know. But yeah, let's move on before we say something we regret. Phantasmal Flames, the chart is broken on TCG Player and has been broken for a few weeks. So we can see that last sale is $322. Now, how are we going to see what prices are last week? Well, luckily, we can check this handsome guy's video from last week and we can see that prices for last sold on the 21st of February, which was about 6 days ago, were $300 for a Phantasmal booster box. Right, let's go back onto the prices then. So last sold now is $322. So Phantasmal Flames has gone up another $22, $23 over the last week, which I believe is about 7%. 23 on 300. There you go, 7.66%. Now that's some quick maths for you for early on in the morning. Phantasmal continues to be a monster set. We trusted our gut feeling and we didn't listen to any of the noise. One of the main reasons why we don't listen to any of the noise from influencers on Instagram telling you what to buy and what not to buy is a lot of them have been doing it for a lot less time than I have. So why would I listen to their opinions? I won't. And instead, I trust my gut feeling. And we're doing well out of Phantasmal. We were stacking it on day one. I still think it's a very good price to buy into at the moment. Could fall in the short term, but we do not invest for the short term. We always say be prepared to hold for at least 2 years. Hopefully a lot more than that. I do think that Phantasmal Flames, once you start zooming out 5 years from now, 10 years from now, is going to be an absolute monster set. I actually think that the Mega Evolution era as a whole is going to perform really well when it's out of print. A lot of people don't like the black booster boxes. I personally think that they're quite cool. I understand why people don't like them because they think they're quite basic, quite plain, there's no Pokemon on it. I actually think that's a good direction for them. And I think if they don't do any more black booster boxes and that's just it for the Mega era, I think these are going to look really premium in the future and really like recognizable and iconic. I think that because Mega Evolution era is a short era as well, so you're only going to have 4 mainline booster box sets with 2 holiday sets, but only 4 black booster boxes potentially. I think that even though Perfect Order, people think that it's not a great set, because it's a shorter era and you do get people that want 1 booster box of everyone in the era, I think it might be the most collected era in the future because it's the smallest one to put together. It will be iconic. It looks different because it's black. I honestly think that Phantasmal base will carry Perfect Order through in the long term. I think short term, no one's going to want Perfect Order, but I think in the long term, it's going to perform fine because everyone's going to want the set. Everyone's going to want the Mega Evolution set of booster boxes, which is what, going to be 4 booster boxes, I think. Whatever comes after Perfect Order as well is going to be a madness. It's going to be completely crazy. There's talks of a Mega Rayquaza set. There's already some leaks out of like the Japanese Rayquaza and Mega Rayquaza, something Abyss. I don't know. I don't go into speculation too much. I'll wait until I've actually seen some set lists and actually know what's coming out. I don't like to talk about what's happening in the future too much. That's open for speculation. I much prefer looking at data, hard facts, what's come already, and then use that to actually see what's going to happen. Right. We're a data man. That's what this channel's all about. Last sold eBay US, just a hair under $300 on an auction there from yesterday, and then 2 for 600, so 300. Another one here going for 314. So yeah, you can see that it's actually breaking out on TCG Player a little bit before eBay. Usually that is the case, mainly because people list them on eBay and they just let them sit. They don't update their prices daily. So as Phantasmal is breaking out live today, yesterday, these are all auctions that were probably listed in the last few days or a week ago. And they're all getting bought out now because the market's moved on. The market's moving so quickly. We will talk more about the future of the market once we start looking at Gen 10 later in this episode. Last sold eBay UK just under 220 quid. I still think that's a really, really good buy to get into. Mega Evolution Base. Mega Evolution Base, massively slept on set. We said when it was at around about this 220 mark that it's one of the cheapest boxes in the era and it doesn't deserve to be there. And then we saw that. We saw the price start correcting live over the last couple of weeks, and now it's holding a premium right up there at around about that 275 to 280 range. Not much change over the last week, but it is sat at all-time highs. It's consolidating at all-time highs, and it is more expensive right now than some of the previous Scarlet and Violet boxes. Okay, for 280 you can scoop up stuff like Surging Sparks, Journey Together, Paradox Rift, Temporal Forces. There's more. So it's very interesting that it shot up to more than those levels, and I think that it's well deserved. I think people are really sleeping on the Mega Evolution era, and like I said, for all the reasons that I've just listed beforehand, with it being iconic, you know, a short era, black boxes, I think that's actually going to carry it through as a premium product in the future. Last sold eBay US $250. New listing tag as well. People are really starting to move into these. There's just not the restocks of these on shelves. Do I expect there to be more waves and restocks in the future? Yes. Do I think it will be enough to significantly affect the price? No. I think prices are just going to continue to keep climbing, especially in the short term for these kind of boxes. Last sold eBay UK. Enhanced version for 225 quid. The enhanced version is quite rare here, and 225 is a really good deal considering market for a non-enhanced is about 215 right now. So for an extra 10 quid, someone scooped themselves an enhanced one over here. Like I said, a bit rarer here than in the UK. And this is exactly what I'm talking about right here, guys. This is what you need to be careful about. Perfect order, PCETB pre-ordering for over 90 quid. There's already market sentiment that this set is not going to be the best received on release, and I don't think it will. I think in the long term it will do fine, but yeah, 90 quid, well, over 90 quid for a pre-sale of a PC ETB that's not going to release for a good while off of a random person that's not even a store. I'm not doing it, guys. Like, there's no point in paying a premium for something that's not out yet. Pay the premium when it's out. There's a good chance that there'll be people dumping them for less than this on release. And if there's not, if market decides on release or the week after release that it's 100 quid for everything, then that's fine. You pay 100 quid. You don't lose money buying at 100 quid when market is 100 quid. But you can lose money pre-ordering for 90 quid and then on release day it drops to 80. That's all I'm saying. Those could sit, those perfect order in the short term. Let's move on then to Destined Rivals. It's funny because whenever I load up Evolving Skies, I always say, Evolving Skies, the king of the jungle himself, Mr. Evolving Skies. Kind of feel like I need a nickname for Destined Rivals now because it is just an absolute monster. It has come down in price a little bit this last week. That means nothing. We expected to see that 560 last week, down to 513 on TCG Player. However, look at the chart. Look what it did. Even at this price point here, before it had the shoot up a couple of weeks ago, even at $400, people never thought that was going to happen. And then we shot up to like 560, and then it's come down to 513. So it shoots up 30% when it's already way above MSRP, way above expectations, and then it consolidates back down like 5-10%, and people are like, oh no, it's fallen. Well, actually it's not either, because look at eBay. 595 last sold yesterday, right up there at all-time highs. 600. So it's multiple sales. Here's another one for 600. These are all from yesterday. US to US. Buy it now. 600, 600, 600. No one saw this coming. They really didn't. I did call it. I called it from day one. I called it from before Destined Rivals was even out. Please, please, please do not mistake confidence for ego. I am not an ego person at all. I do occasionally say, I told you so, to people and to other influencers, just because it annoys me how blatantly aggressive they get and how quick they are to tell you that your views are wrong. And then you see a $600 Destined Rivals booster box 7 months after release. And there's no apology. There's no, oh, you got it right. It just really, really frustrates me. And it's not that it frustrates me because it offends me. I don't get offended by that kind of stuff. What I really care about is all of their followers. All of those people that missed out on the $200 Destined Rivals boxes because they listened to someone who doesn't know what they're talking about. All these people that pay for paid Discords, for people that don't know what they're doing. They're just imitating as something that they're not. They're playing a role. They're an actor as someone who thinks that they're a data person. They might watch my videos and think, I could do that. That's easy. We've been doing this a very long time. And I tell you what, in the early years of me doing this and investing in sealed product, I made a lot of bad plays. But it took me like 7.5 years of practice doing this before I finally felt that I can sit and make YouTube videos and actually advise people on this and make them money, because I understand like the gravity of that. Okay, some of you, most of you, are financially responsible. Okay, you know that if I recommend a set, it's actually your decision. But not everyone's like that. Some people will just copy and paste plays, and I think that's a lot of people. And you hold so much responsibility if you're telling people what to buy. And that's what I don't like. The lack of responsibility in this for people getting it wrong. And I feel very passionately about that. And I'm here basically to help you all, guide you all, but be careful. Okay, just be careful with this stuff. Even if we are always right or have been. And that sounds like an ego flex, but it's just facts. It really is. Basically everything I've said for the last 3 years on this channel has come true. And those are takes that no one else was saying online. No one else has this consistency. They really don't. But it's come from doing this for nearly a decade. It will be a decade in May. Okay? It takes a lot of time to get good at this. Anyway, we're divulging again. We're not doing good this episode, are we? We're going off on some tangents today. But this is why I didn't want to talk about Gen 10 Pokemon at the start of the episode, because we would have just gone on a massive tangent about Gen 10 and never actually got into some prices. But this is what I really like talking about, guys. It is such an exciting time in the hobby right now. We are absolutely cooking right now. It's one of my favorite times in any kind of market cycle, when everything's just rolling, prices are going crazy. It's insane. We're having so many good sets. Ascended Heroes is so good. Phantasmal is so good. Destined is so good. Prismatic is so good. 151, Paldea and Fates. We are in a golden era of Pokemon right now, and a golden era of sealed as well. And it's fantastic to be a part of it. We will be making videos, continuing for the next future years, unless something happens to me, of course. Let's hope not. But we will be continuing to do this. And I guarantee in a few years' time, we will be looking back and talking about these moments right now, about how insane the climb up of Destined Rivals was and how no one saw it coming. Amazing. Really is amazing. Last sold eBay UK 414 quid. So it's right up there at all-time highs. Look at this guy. It's multiple sales of $600 a box. Absolutely insane. Absolutely crazy. More expensive than Brilliant Stars, Silver Tempest. Like, top 6 sets of Sword and Shield era. Not even Scarlet and Violet. Sword and Shield era, guys. Like, how long before it overtakes Lost Origin? Because that's the next, like, landmark for it to get past. Lost Origin is, like, just over $700. It's like $730. How long until we get to that price point? I do think it will happen. I don't know when it will happen, but could happen quite soon. Could happen this year. We'll talk more about what's going to happen later this year when we get on to Gen 10. Anyway, last sold eBay UK 414. Prismatic Evolutions, another amazing set. And again, please don't think this is ego. It is very hard to not sound like I've got an ego when I keep predicting everything right. Okay? Prismatic Evolutions. We might even make Prismatic Evolutions the title of this video, because Prismatic Evolutions is the best buy right now, I think, in the market. And it's not like it was the best buy this week. Prismatic Evolutions, particularly the ETB, has been the best buy for the last few months. Since it dipped down and you were getting $100 ones and it was getting mass printed in Costco, I was telling people back then to buy it. I've been telling people every single week to buy Prismatic Evolutions. Prismatic is a snowball. We keep saying it each and every week. It is a snowball at the top of the mountain, and it is only going to get bigger and faster as it rolls down the mountain and people FOMO into it. Prismatic Evolutions is one of the heaviest printed speciality sets of all time, and it never even got close to MSRP. Now prices are starting to rise. It is leaving the station. The train is gathering speed. The engine is getting hotter. It is only going to get faster, mark my words. It is seeing significant growth. Look at the chart. We're starting to accelerate, as we called it. Last week, $160. This week, $190. 30 price rise. 30 on what was it? 160. Was it 30 on 160? Let's just calculate that out properly again, because I don't want to give you the wrong information. Yeah, 160 to 189. 189.99. So 30 on 160. Let's calculate that out. Yeah, 18% price rise. 18.75% price rise in the last 7 days. In the last week. And we told you, we even said it last week, the best time to invest in Evolving Skies was weeks ago. The next best time to invest, not Evolving Skies, sorry, Prismatic Evolution. The best time to invest in Prismatic Evolutions was weeks ago. The next best time to invest in Prismatic Evolutions is today. People will kick themselves, even at this new price point. People don't adapt quick enough to price points changing, okay? Even at 190 an ETB for Prismatic Evolutions, it's cheap. It is massively undervalued. That Moonbryon, or that Sunbryon even, in a PSA 10 is an insane price right now. And it's not like that's one card carrying the set. It would be enough. If that was the only chase card in Prismatic, then that would be enough to carry the set into a $500 plus ETB. This thing is going to the moon over the next few years, and you could still get in under $200. for cheaper than a lot of booster boxes right now in all eras. You can still buy into one of the best sets of all time. It hasn't had its time to run yet. It is starting to run now. Mark my words, it will continue to run. People are blind to it because they're too used to seeing it pre-run when it was massively printed. In people's heads, this is still $110, $120 box. Prices have moved. Prices are breaking out right now. Where do you think this set is going to go when it goes out of print? It will follow in the footsteps of 151. It will follow in the footsteps of Paldean Fates. And it could eclipse both of them easily. Let's see what happens. Last sold, eBay US. Look, eBay's not even caught up yet. TCG's breaking out, but there's still sales. Look at this. Yesterday, $127. Cheap, guys. Pretty soon, people are going to kick themselves. It's going to be a Crown Zenith situation, but 10 times crazier. Crown Zenith, people were mad paying $100 because they were used to seeing it on Costco shelves for cheaper. People were mad when it was $120, when it was $150, when it was $160. Crown Zenith is now over $250 a box and climbing. Where do you think Prismatic is going to go? Like, realistically, like, let's look at the data. Let's look at other speciality sets. Prismatic is stronger than Crown Zenith. And I like Crown Zenith. Crown Zenith is a great set. Don't get me wrong. And when I say stronger, I don't mean... You can argue, oh, but Crown Zenith has better hits with the God cards and the gold cards. And I'm not talking about sets. When I say it's stronger, I mean demand. Demand for Prismatic is going to be so much higher than Crown Zenith once it's had its chance to run. Trust me on that. Last sold, eBay UK, 115 quid. Honestly, people are going to kick themselves for not moving into this at this price point. It will continue to run. Talking about great sets and great speciality booster boxes or elite trade boxes that are starting to run, 151 is on a tear again. Look at this. And again, we called it, guys. We said there's only one direction that 151 elite trainer boxes are going to go now. They're just going to continue to climb and continue to push all-time highs. They're not making any more of it. Look at this. Last week, $451. This week, $500. $495. $500. $480. $480. It's breaking out live right now. Golden era of Pokemon, guys. People are starting to FOMO into it. And like, this is just the start. This next year... it's going to be absolutely crazy. And that's going to lead on to the next segment real well. Look at this. Last sold, eBay, $500. We've breached $500 now. $520, $499. It's not just one sale, guys. That's the price now. It's just going to keep going. 500 is going to become the new floor now for 151 Elite Trainer boxes. And as the days go on, more and more go off the market. More and more get ripped. You might think, oh, that's crazy. Who's ripping 151 Elite Trainer boxes? A lot of people. A lot of people are ripping them. Trust me. A lot are getting ripped by people and cracked open. But a lot of them are getting bought up by people who are investing or displaying them in their collections for 500. Do you really think that these people now, obviously some of them will be flipping them, but do you really think most people, if they buy a 151 Elite Trainer box now, at this stage, for $500, they're going to flip it back on eBay a few days later? No. That's going to sit in someone's collection for a good while. A decent amount of time. So then that's just another box off the market. And every day, box off the market, box off the market, box off the market. The supply is going to go down so quickly on these 151 Elite Trainer boxes. They really are. Last sold, eBay UK, $291 with the PCETB. Right up there, nearly 600 now. Over 600 with postage. Crazy, guys. Right. Nice blurry photo of Gen 10 Pokemon. So this got released last night. everyone and their dog has made an Instagram post about Gen 10 Pokemon because it's an easy way for people to stimulate activity on their Instagram. I think that some of the posts are very lazy. And I'm calling you out. I know some of you people are watching right now. If you just made an Instagram post on your channel and you're a big person and you just uploaded this photo or another photo of the Gen 10 and just said, oh, new Gen 10 Pokemon, what do you think? Question mark. That's a lazy post. And I'm looking at you and you know I'm talking to you. There's some influencers that watch me. I'm talking to you. That is a lazy post. You should have done more. But I get it. You know, it's easy stimulation. It's easy content. Me, I made a reel about how I'm going to talk about it today in more detail. Okay. There is so much more than people realize this image means. Okay. So what happened is they released a game trailer for a new Pokemon game going to release on Switch 2 exclusive called Pokemon Wind and Waves. Okay. And then in the trailer, you see these 3 new starter Pokemon. Cool. Now, a lot of people have been talking about it. A lot of people have made some pretty basic posts about it on Instagram. Oh, look how amazing this is. Oh, I can't wait to play a new game. Not me. Right. Let's talk about Sealed. What does this mean for Sealed? This is the 10th generation of Pokemon. It is confirmed because we have new starters. We knew that there was going to be a 10th generation of Pokemon. Before we knew that the Mega Evolution era of cards were going to come, it was the expectation that Gen 10 was going to release. Okay? I personally think that Gen 10 was originally planned long ago to come out when Scarlet and Violet ended. So it was going to be no Mega Evolution era and it was going to be Gen 10. The problem with bringing out a whole new generation of Pokemon is you have to line up so many logistics. And this is what a lot of people don't think about to bring out a new era. It is so much easier to bring out Mega Evolution era because it's just the cards. When you bring out a new generation, you have to have all the new Pokemon ready. You have to have all the new base set ready to be printed, and base sets generally have to be printed way more than any other sets because you're trying to encapsulate a whole new generation. Okay, it's not just a new generation of Pokemon, it's a new generation of kids. And you have to line up so many things. You have to line up the TCG, you have to line up the games, you have to have all the artwork ready, all the promo ready, and you also have to line up, what was the other thing that I was going to say? The anime as well. And you have to line up the anime as well so the kids can actually learn who the Pokemon are before the generation comes out. So to bring out a new generation is logistically a nightmare. So it was my assumption, and I have no proof of this. No one knows the inner workings of Pokemon. They're very quiet about that. But it was my expectation that originally this was meant to come out in 2026 and they had to delay it for whatever reason. I would imagine it's either because the game wasn't ready or because the anime wasn't ready. I would believe it's probably one of those two things. The fact that we are seeing now the first trailer and the first unveiling of the starters means everything's ready to go. They have said in the trailer that the game is going to come out in 2027. Now, we know that Mega Evolution is a 6-set era. 4 booster boxes, I believe, and 2 holiday sets. I may have that wrong, but that was my understanding of it. It was due, in my opinion, to end in like April, May 2027. So we were probably going to get Perfect Order. Then we were going to get another set towards winter time. And then another holiday set at around Christmas time, and then Gen 10 coming out spring. Now, that timescale might be a little bit wrong. These are just estimates at the moment. No one knows when this is coming out, but it would make sense for it to line up then. It might come out a few months later. We might get Gen 10 base set coming out, Wind and Waves era in the summer. That could definitely happen as well. Let's talk about what that means for sealed. I've been through multiple market cycles in the 10 years that I've been doing this, and it generally always pans out the same. People have a misconception that when the hype cycle finishes, the whole market crashes. Generally, that's not what happens. Usually what happens is a new era of Pokemon comes out. So we would have, for example, a new base set Wind and Waves. So I guess we call that WW1. And that is where the crash happens. The stuff that's already out, the end of the Mega Evolution era, the Scarlet and Violet era, the prices don't come down in that. That's not where the crash happens. The crash is on the secondary market of new product. So this happened when Scarlet and Violet released. It happened when Sword and Shield released their base sets and their first couple of sets. No one wanted them because no one has any kind of emotional attachment to any of the new Pokemon yet. And generally, the base set of the new era, because they're trying to promote a new generation of Pokemon, isn't going to be carried by a Gen 1 chase, generally. So what that means is that out the gate, and it's sad to say, but it happens every time, the base set will perform badly. And probably the first two sets after base set will perform badly. Because of that, people will focus more on the previous era, because the previous era will look even better. Stuff like Phantasmal, stuff like Destined Rivals, stuff like Prismatic is all going out of print. So that just becomes a perfect storm because people don't like the new stuff yet. They will, but not yet. It takes time for them to like that. So they just plow into the stuff that's not being printed, the Destined, the Prismatic, because it looks so good in comparison. This happens every time, guys. But what happens is big box stores that get allocated loads and loads of these base set boxes, they can't afford to sit on them for 2 years, for a year and a half, for the market sentiment to change and then start liking the base set and to start liking WW2 and WW3, whatever those sets will be. They don't have time. They need to free up cash flow, so they start fire selling. That's when you get a situation like in Scarlet and Violet, where you have base set, you have Paldea Evolved, Obsidian Flames, all for $90 a box. Okay, I think the days of the $90 booster box are gone because of MSRP rising, inflation rising, but you're gonna see cheap boxes of Wind and Wave base, Wind and Wave 2, Wind and Wave 3, because people aren't going to be focused on it. The focus on the hobby is going to be on the era that's going out of print. Phantasmal going out of print. There's none of it sat on shelves. It's doing crazy numbers. Destined Rivals. Look at the price rise. The same thing happens over and over again. When Scarlet and Violet released, everyone said it was terrible. Everyone hated base. Everyone hated Paldea Evolved. Everyone hated Obsidian. And you might say, oh, no, they didn't. Everyone loved Paldea Evolved. No, they didn't. It sat for $90 a box for over a year. Everyone trash-talked Obsidian Flames. Worst set ever. Darkness Ablaze Part 2. All of these big people as well said that. And now they're like, oh, no, Paldea is the best set ever. Obsidian was amazing. We called it from day one. No, you didn't. Everyone trash-talked it. The people who called it are the people like me who have an entire storage box of Obsidian Flames booster boxes. By the way, not on site. All moved into storage. Any burglars watching, there's nothing of value stored here anymore. Just have to say that now. 2026 is wild, honestly. But yeah, Gen 10, massive opportunity once it's been out for a little while to move into stuff like base, WW2, WW3 for below retail, what everyone else is focusing on. Phantasmal, Destined, Prismatic, because that's when those sets are really going to start running. You think they're running now? No. Destined, Phantasmal, Prismatic, they're just getting started. In 2027, when this is all you've got sat on the shelves, that's when they start to run. Anyway, that's enough talking about Gen 10. I won't talk about it again for a good while unless we get more crazy news or confirmations of sealed product, which we probably won't for a good while. Just wanted to put that out there. Didn't want to do it at the start of the episode. Didn't want to make it the focus of the video. Let's get back into now. Let's refresh ourselves, cleanse ourselves. Let's start talking about sets right now. And yeah, let's move on. Journey together. Journey together. Okay, I feel exhausted after that. Journey together. Last week, 251. This week, 255. Not really moving. I do think that that is a good price point to move into in the US. It is a slightly above average set. The floor for Scarlet and Violet sets is around about 240 to 250. So if you can scoop Journey, a nice minty one for 250, I don't think you lose in the long term. I think you do quite well out of that. I can easily see this box going to over $500 a box, given enough time to run. And once it's out of print, it's not going to do that anytime soon, though. We are talking years, okay? Realistically, we are talking years. We are talking Journey Together will probably start running 350 plus a box, like I said, when Gen 10 comes out mid 2027. Like over a year's time, about a year and a half's time for it to really start to run. And then even then, it's not going to run anywhere near like Destined, Phantasmal, Prismatic, those best in class sets. But not a bad price point to buy into as long as you're willing to hold it for a decent amount of time. Last sold eBay US enhanced version, 265 on an auction. That's quite strong. 250 on a buy it now, both from yesterday. Last sold eBay UK, 160. Another one going for 190. Massive restocks of Journey Together here in the UK. There's a lot of it about right now. I actually bought one last week. People moaned at me when I said I was buying Destined Rivals instead of picking up Journey Together and searching for retail because it was available locally. I'm sorry, I'm not going out of my house specifically to buy Journey Together at retail. I don't need to. I happen to be at an LCS because I bought a Ascended Heroes PCETB and they had some Journey Together for retail, 152. So I was just like, you know what, I'll take another box. Why not? There's no rush to move into it. But for that price point, like I said, you can't lose. I'll probably sell it when it hits like 400, 500 a box in like 3-4 years time. But yeah, I don't know. Journey is what it is. I much prefer Surgeon Sparks. If I'd have seen Surgeon Sparks for retail, then I would have scooped that up as well. The reason why I didn't go out and buy Surgeon for retail when it was available was I want to make clear to you guys, because I got a lot of comments about, oh, why are you doing that? Surgeon for retail, such a good deal. There wasn't a lot of it about. There was some at an LCS and it was first come, first serve. And I'm not getting up at 5 a.m. to go stand in the cold in the middle of winter in a queue to buy Surgeon Sparks for retail and then maybe not even get a box because they only had a few. So just to put things into perspective, that's why I didn't go and get Surgeon the other week. Also as well, I haven't talked about a huge amount on this channel, but having health issues. So I'm not going to go stand out in the cold. I can barely stand at the moment. I've had multiple operations, barely been able to walk for the last 6 months. Hopefully had the last operation about 2 weeks ago. Had big plans to do a lot of the card shows over this month. Had tickets and everything. Sadly, I couldn't. Unplanned surgeries and whatnot. I was hoping that I would have been better for them. Haven't been. Having a really tough recovery time at the moment. But like I said, was just in an operation 2 weeks ago. I've had multiple over the last 6 months, really kind of getting me down. But yeah, it is what it is. Health is wealth, and I would rather have these operations and try and get sorted and healthy for the future. It's just it's horrible to go through a recovery. I'm now about 2.5 weeks into a 14-week recovery. So yeah, still feeling pretty raw and pretty tough. But that's why I never made it to any of the UK card shows that are happening or have been happening over this month. If any of you were expecting me to see me there. Anyway, we didn't need to go into that. That was PokePond story time. I don't mind telling you guys, because anyone who's at this stage of the video and listened to all of my rambling so far are a true fan. Okay, the people who don't care have tuned off already, and let them lose out on the plays, because to be honest, that means if they tune out by this point already, they probably tuned out long ago. They haven't learnt about Gen 10. They don't know what's going to happen. They're going to miss all the plays. They're probably going to buy into Destined Rivals when it's like $2,000 a box and hope that they'll double their money. Like it's just funny how the market operates. It really is. Anyway, Surgeon Sparks last sold eBay US 250. I think that's a cheap price for Surgeon. I think that's a decent buy. I think again Surgeon is a little bit above average. Again, can easily see a $500 box in multiple years from now once it's fully out of print. Last sold eBay UK 190. People just dumping them because it's quite readily available. There's been some restocks over the last few weeks here in the UK of Surgeon and Journey. So you're just getting the scalpers that don't want to hold it for any length of time. They probably scoop that up for retail like 152 and they're just dumping it for 190. They're probably all private sellers as well, so after fees they pocket themselves like 40 quid. Yeah, just the way the hobby is right now, so that's why prices are lower. Again, anything sub 200 quid, pretty much for anything right now here in the UK, is a decent buy, and Surgeon's a decent, slightly above average set, so not a bad buy. Paradox Rift, woo, it's fallen in price. No, there's just a lot being sold over the last few days on TCG Player. I don't know if there's some kind of TCG Player sale going on right now, maybe like less fees or something. I presume so, because there's a lot of sales activity on TCG, and that's usually the case when you see a massive increase in sales. Look at this. Look, these are like 2-day windows on the price chart, and it's, look at the average: 1 sold, 8 sold, 1 sold, 7 sold, 7 sold. And then you look at yesterday, 191 boxes sold in the last 2 days, and it's the same for multiple sets. So I presume TCG Players doing some kind of sale on fees. Honestly, I don't care. I don't use TCG Player. It's not really a big thing here in the UK. But hey, if you can get a deal paying less fees on some sealed and you're in the US, good for you. But yeah, Paradox Rift falling in price. Kind of expected, looked a bit overvalued when it was in this 270 280 range. I did call that. I'm not proud of being able to call what I call like micro movements in the market, because I think it's a lot more challenging to call things like Phantasmal breaking out and being a really popular set when everyone else is saying the opposite before it even comes out. I put much more pride in myself being able to do that, being able to call Prismatic breaking out in price, 151 Paldean. In the short term, Paradox Rift dropping from like 270 to 250. I mean, yes, I called it, but it's like at the same time, who cares? Like, micro movements week to week really don't matter in sealed, and I think a lot of people trade on that. They trade on the drama in the market. Oh, this week the entire market's down 10%. Does that mean the sky is falling? Well, no, because over the last year the entire market's up 200% or something like that. Do you know what I mean? There's way too many people that are focused on the short term. And yes, although we do call the short term, there's too many people obsessed with trying to enter the market at the best possible price. If you bought Paradox Rift for 270 last week, and now it's dropped to 250 and you're feeling awful, don't. Because if you hold that for 2 years, it's going to sell for way more than 270 anyway. Even Paradox Rift. Like, even the worst sets, had to get that in there. Another little dig at Paradox Rift. Even the worst sets will perform well over time. Given enough time, they will just perform slower than other sets. So, yeah, my biggest bit of advice is don't worry too much about the micro movements in the market, especially a dip like this. I mean, it was expected. Like I said, I called it. It just looked a bit overpriced at 270. I said worst case scenario, you buy into it, it drops $20. It has done. It is what it is. Last sold eBay US 260. Still one of the cheapest boxes of the Scarlet and Violet era, despite it going out of print over the next sort of 2 months, 3 months. Last sold eBay UK 182. Again, one of the cheapest boxes. Not a terrible buy. Look at another one going for 177. It's just that box is not going to get you rich over a long period of time. It's really not. You will make money though. Temporal Forces coming down in price as well. Again, called the micro movement on it. It's nothing to be proud of though. I'm not even proud of doing that. It didn't sit right at 270. Eventually it will be 270. Last week it was at 270. Now it's come down. Actually, last sold 270, 275. The averages have come down though, because yesterday people were dumping it for 250. Multiple sales at 250 as well. Maybe all of those 250 ones have sold. Again, massive amount of sold. 119 sold. Yeah, multiple cases there going for 250. Don't know if that's a lot of people just dumping them. Maybe one big holding that's dumping a load for a certain price. Maybe it's a liquidation of a business. I don't know. Or it could just be TCG player having a sale or something. Do not know. Anyway. Last sold eBay US 242. That's from the UK. That's an import. Weird things happen with like imports and like prices and conversion rates. Like if you're looking at US prices, just go US to US, and if you're looking at UK prices, go UK to UK. 270 a box. Still going for a decent amount. I think 270s are a little bit overpriced for temporal. Again, even though I prefer it to Paradox slightly. I think market should be about 260, but again, I wouldn't worry about paying an extra 5% over what I think market should be. As long as you're going to hold that for the long term, you'll probably make, well, it depends how long you hold it, but probably realistically 50, 60 plus % profit. So who cares if you buy in at 5% over what this guy thinks? It is what it is. Last sold eBay UK 182. Again, one of the cheapest boxes. I think anything sub 200 quid in the UK is a decent buy right now. Powder and Fates Elite Trainer box. Right, let's get the energy back. I love Powder and Fates. I think that these Elite Trainer boxes, honestly, people are sleeping on them so much. This is going to be one of the most desirable Elite Trainer boxes in the future. I really do see that happening. It's difficult to say whether it'll overtake Prismatic or not. I think that Prismatic fundamentally is going to be a more in-demand set in the future. However, Prismatic had so many more printed than Powder and Fates. Powder and Fates had an okay amount printed early into its life cycle. I remember being able to buy on eBay. This wasn't like invitation era. This was order as many as you like Powder and Fates Elite Trainer boxes for retail on Amazon for a long time. So there were a decent amount about early in its life cycle for like the first sort of 8 months after release. I remember seeing the booster bundles sat here in shop shelves sub retail. They were going for like 22 quid. And like I kick myself for not buying more of them. But it's so easy to do in this hobby, to look back at the plays you didn't make and feel upset about it. Instead, focus on what's ahead of you. Like I said, we're in a golden era right now, and none of that's going to matter soon. You can buy into some of the best sets. Powder and Fates, 151, Prismatic Evolutions, Evolving Skies, Fusion Strike. Even if you can't like destined rivals as well. Even if you can't afford to buy into them with like the big product, like, oh, I can't afford to buy a Evolving Skies booster box right now, and it's like, yeah, but can you afford the ETB? Or can you afford some sleeved packs? I think most people can. Do you know what I mean? Powder and Fates, same thing. Can't afford the ETB. Maybe you can afford a bundle or something like that, or a poster collection, or a tech sticker set. Now, I always talk about ETBs and booster boxes, and people are like, yeah, but what about the booster bundles? And what about the display cases? I would be here forever if I went through every product. What I try and do here on the channel is I try and focus on the most common, best performing product of each set. So, for mainline sets, booster boxes. For holiday sets, normal Elite Trainer boxes. That's not to say there's not plays to be made on the bundles. I buy a lot of bundles, okay? I'm just talking about the set. Now, yes, the ETB is probably going to perform a little bit better in the long term than the bundle, because the ETB is more of a collector's item. Probably. So that's why I focus on saying that. It's not to say that bundles aren't a good play. I also buy a lot of sleeved packs. I love sleeved packs. Triple blisters. They make money. They just won't go up quite as much as the ETB or the booster box. I just wanted to make that clear, because sometimes I get some comments of people like, yeah, but why are you not talking about the PC ETB or this tech sticker collection? It's like, you can still make plays on them. The sealed market as a whole will still go up. It's just these are the most desirable products. Otherwise, I'll be here all day. Last sold eBay US, $344. Did we even look at the prices? No, we didn't. It's right up there at all-time highs. On the average price chart, $298 last week, $310 now. Sales right up there at $330. So potentially jumping anywhere from like 2 to 10%. Right up there at all-time highs. Honestly, this is going to be a monster set in the future. This ETB specifically as well is going to have some crazy price movements in the next couple of years. I really do think so. There we go. Last sold eBay US. Look at the range of prices here from yesterday. Okay, $344. Buy it now. New listing tag. $300. $295. So you're seeing a, what's that, nearly $50 swing between 3 buy it nows just from yesterday. Crazy. Last sold eBay UK, $230. Weird one. Going for $260 or $160. That's got to be a German one, right? Even with an English photo. It's an import from Germany. Anyway, that's market. $230 now. Just continuing to climb up in price. There's no way in my eyes that doesn't just continue to climb and start pushing up to the levels of 500 quid a box, like where 151 is going right now. Obsidian Flames. I briefly talked about Obsidian Flames earlier on in this episode. Obsidian Flames, keep an eye on Obsidian Flames. Everyone always forgets about Obsidian Flames. I really like Obsidian Flames. I bought into it from day one, sub-retail. I pre-ordered for sub-retail, and then it sat around for $90 a box. No one wanted it. I saw the potential in it. It's starting to break out over the last few weeks, so I'm talking about it. It's going out of print in a couple of weeks. Well, when I say a couple of weeks, a couple of months, like 8 to 10 weeks, something like that. That'll go by quickly. Yeah. Breaking out in price a little bit. $334 last week. Now up to $350 with sales of $360. Keep an eye on Obsidian, honestly. Right, let's move on. Oh, my microphone just nearly fell off the table. That gave me a heart attack. The king of the jungle himself, Mr. Evolving Skies. Weird stuff is going on TCG Player, like I said. Look at the sales data. Again, 2-day windows. We were averaging seeing about 3 to 4 sold a week. In the last 2 days, 40 Evolving Skies boxes have sold in the last 2 days. There's got to be something going on with TCG Player. But I think it's more than that as well. Not only is there a lot of sales data for Evolving Skies and other sets, I think that there is some kind of promotion going on TCG. However, I also think that we are starting to see what we started to call a few weeks ago. I think a lot of people, or very few people, are starting to buy out all the Evolving Skies. I've said this for a little while now. We saw it last year where the top 6 sets just get bought out overnight and then flipped. I think we're going to see the same thing later on in this year. I think a lot of Evolving Skies is getting bought out right now, and I think that a few select people, maybe even one person or one business, is buying up all the Evolving Skies. I mean, usually this page, like I said, we'll see 4 sales in a week. Look at all these boxes bought for 2,400. And these aren't just one sale. Like, look at this one. That's a case at 2,400 a piece. These are all from yesterday. That's another case at 2,400 a piece. I saw one earlier that was like a 10 box sale on TCG Player. 10 boxes at 2,400 each. That's a decent chunk of change for one sale. I'm not reading too much into the amount being sold there. Like I said, there's definitely some kind of promotion or something going on with fees on TCG Player. However, also someone is buying out all the Evolving Skies, and I think they'll do the same for Fusion, Lost, Brilliant, and Silver. And later on this year, we'll just see another leg up. Just overnight, everything will just jump another 20-30%. We've seen it before. We know it's possible. It doesn't, in the grand scheme of things, take a lot of money to do that. Okay, it does take millions, but some people, just single one people, have millions to do that. And the potential upside of them being able to control and buy out the whole market for a relatively cheap amount of money for low risk, high gain, it's going to happen. Okay, and it's going to happen more and more and more. Evolving Skies is the perfect candidate to do that with as well. We're seeing price rising here on eBay US. Last sold on an auction 2,600. We were seeing loads of sales over the last few months of like 2,300, 2,400, 2,100, 1,900, starting to move upwards again. It wouldn't take a lot for some price manipulation and for Evolving Skies to just jump over 3 grand permanently and then start climbing 3 grand, start knocking on the door 4 grand, 5 grand. It will happen. It's just going to take time. Will it be in 6 months' time for it to hit those kind of numbers? Probably not. Will it be 2 years, 5 years, 10 years? I don't know on the time scale, but I think a lot of people agree that Evolving Skies is going to push up 5 grand, 10 grand a box. It's just the time frame is the question mark. That's all it is. Last sold eBay UK. Weird sales going on here. So we got one at 1,400 quid. If that went through and that gets delivered and that's a legit box, hang on a minute. That doesn't look sealed. Hang on a minute. Oh, look at this. This is sneaky, guys. Look, 1,400 quid. They put sealed in capitals, sealed packs, and an acrylic box. So it's an open box of Evolving Skies. And they're like playing it off like it's a sealed box. That's dirty. That really is. You got to be careful. There's some real scumbags on the internet. Wow. I feel sorry for whoever bought that if they thought that was a sealed box and they were getting a bargain. Anyway, market $23.50 for a nice sealed one. Yeah, right up there. Very expensive. And I think it's going to move a lot over this next year. Fusion Strike kind of chilling at $1,000 like it has been for a while. Lots of sales data here. Again, something going on with TCG, some kind of promotion. Lots of sales at around about that $1,000 mark, which is where we expect it to be. Last sold eBay US, exactly the same, $1,000. Not much change there. Last sold eBay UK. 720. It's weird, like people's wording on these auctions, like capital letters, Fusion Strike, Sword and Shield booster box, factory sealed 36 packs. Why say 36 packs? Like, I don't like that. I don't need to know there's 36 packs. I'm sorry, but if I'm buying a sealed booster box of Fusion Strike for 720 quid, I think I know how many packs are in the booster box. Like, it's just weird wording. Like, I don't like it. Lost Origin, me just being picky. It's because of that Evolving Skies one, and then being like, oh yeah, it's sealed packs, and it's like, yeah, but it's not a sealed booster box, is it? Like, if you're gonna do this, I've got to circle back to it because that's so crazy, right? If you're gonna do this and you're gonna sell 36 loose Evolving Skies packs in an acrylic box, don't include the display. Just have the packs out of the box, because you can easily sell it like that, but the fact that you're only showing photos, look, the only photos of it are it in the box. Just show it open. Look at that. It's like, just lift the lid up. Just show that it's open. That's so dishonest. Oh, there you go. Okay, he has shown the packs in the end. There we go. That's what I wanted. That's what I wanted to see. Fine. Make that the #1 image. Or like, have the loose packs just in the box for the first photo. Because that is so dishonest. I don't like that. Whoever that person is, I don't like you. I don't care what you think. It's just dishonest. Lost Origin booster box. Slowly climbing up there in price. I think that Lost Origin is so undervalued. I've thought it for a long time. I think it should be up there with Fusion Strike at $1,000 a box. But it's slowly climbing up each week. Last week it was at $732. Now it's at $750. So it's up like $18. Just slowly climbing up there. Very nice. Last sold eBay US $550. That's really cheap. What? 27th of Feb, $550. What? That's so cheap. No rating. No feedback. New seller. Weird, like, throwaway username. Got 2 available. One of them sold. Should we have a look at the box together? See what we think. I mean, off the rip, if it's a fake, it's a very good fake. I don't think it is a fake. It's showing damage there as well to the corner. Nothing major though. A little bit of crumpling. I think that's a legit box, you know. I mean, I can't say for sure. I would be cautious though, buying into a box with someone who's like never sold before. You can usually tell by the price. But yeah, $550. And market's what, like $720? So that's like $180. $720. I suppose 25% below market. I mean, that's a generational dump, but I suppose it's within the realm of possibility. The photos look all right as well, and it is a little bit crushed on the top. I mean, the seal looks fine, but it's definitely had something heavy on it there. Kind of looks legit. I don't see anything screaming out to me that it's fake, but okay. Someone got a good deal, I guess. As long as it ships and it's actually that box. See, this is the problem when people sell multiples as well, because where he's got 2 available and there's only a photo of 1, that's also a bit fishy as well, because you could get shipped any box and then you can say, oh, well, that's not the one in the photo. And he's like, well, yeah, because I had 2. Do you see what I mean? Like, the one he ships you could have a lot more damage than that, but you just don't know. There's so many like warning signs with it. It's 20% below market. He's got no feedback. He's a new seller. And there's 2 available and only 1 photo. Nah, too sus for me to move on something like that. But that being said, eBay's really good at like handling returns. I've bought lots of stuff in the past. I've had stuff turned up and it's not meant to be what it's meant to be. Even if there's no major issues with it, just maybe like they've been doing some shenanigans with the seal, it doesn't look quite right or something, eBay's quite happy to return it, and they'll always support the buyer as well, especially with expensive stuff like this, and especially if you've been a buying customer for multiple years as well. I've had my eBay account like 15, 16 years or something like that, so anytime I've got any issues, they back me up 100%. So shout out to eBay on that one. I do feel pretty safe buying anything like this. Personally, I wouldn't take the risk though. That's kind of a bit crazy. But the photo looks legit. I don't know. Comment down below. What do you think about that Lost Origin box? Would you buy it? Other ones here going for like 610. See, you can get a deal. Look, 610 with a case on an auction. And that's like a nice one as well. Fair play. Okay, people getting deals on Lost Origin. TCG Market's up there at 720, and people are scooping them on auctions for 610. Really good deal, whoever got that one. We'll quickly whiz through the others because there's not been much change. Brilliant Stars, kind of flat, kind of just sat there knocking on the door of 600. Maybe, you know, trading within $20-30 range of 600 up and down. Sat there at all-time highs, poised to have a good year. Silver Tempest, very similar thing. Sat there anywhere between 470, 480, 500. Just kind of sat there at the moment. Again, all-time highs. Crown Zenith. We talked a bit about Crown Zenith earlier on. Crown Zenith is one of the most consistent booster boxes, elite trainer boxes of all time. It has had some of the most consistent growth out of anything. It's not had the volatile ups and downs. It generally only ever goes in one direction. It is a nice, iconic elite trainer box. It is a great set as well. It's a fun set to open too. Very iconic. Big fan of Crown Zenith. Full transparency, I liquidated the last of my Crown Zenith elite trainer boxes earlier on in the year. I no longer hold any. Why? Do you think that it's because I think that it won't go up in value anymore? No. Like I said, Crown Zenith is one of the most consistent, safest places to put your money. So PokePond, why would you sell it? Why would you liquidate it? For a couple of reasons. One, consolidation of space. For the amount of space that that elite trainer box takes up, for a value of $250, it's not worth it for me. Okay? I would much rather get something. I'm at that stage in my collection now where I'd much rather get like an Evolving Skies, which is 10 times the price and smaller. I'm more consolidating down into smaller, more expensive boxes at the moment. And also, with the money that I used from selling the Crown Zenith, I ended up buying Destined Rivals for $280 and Phantasmal Flames on pre-release for, I think it was like $210 secondary market, something like that. I've got it all written down. It's just remembering the prices off the top of my head. I buy so much sealed, it's so hard to remember what I paid for everything, but I do keep track of everything. I've got it on a notes tab on my phone. Like literally anytime I buy anything, I write it down. So when I come to sell anything, I'm like scrolling through like, when was the last time I bought this? What price did I buy it for? It's quite funny, but it's what works for me. There we go. Crown Zenith Elite Trainer Box. Continuing to climb up in price. It's funny, a few weeks ago, it was like flat for the first time ever at that 250 mark. And now it's just going back up again. Very consistent. Probably one of the safest places to put your money. I rolled the money back into more risky investments. We all know what happened to Destined and Phantasmal though, so it worked out for me. But yeah, I would, if I was new to sealed investing and I didn't have much stuff, I recommend Crown Zenith. It's one of the safest places to park your money. But it won't make you rich overnight. Let's have a look at prices very quickly. 254 last week. Up there to 280, 285, 290 this week. So what's that? 30, 20, 26, nearly a 10% price rise on Crown Zenith this week. Very significant. Let's finish off the episode we like to palette cleanse at the end of each episode and just have a look at what's been selling on eBay US. I had a little look and a little search earlier, and I thought this was really interesting because you don't see this come up all the time. The set of Sword and Shield base Electrono boxes. Now, these particular Electrono boxes were actually quite rare. They were massively underprinted. I think they're very cool, personally. That one looks like it's got a little bit of a rip on it. But yeah, very cool, quite rare. Going for $250 now for both of them. But the reason why I wanted to point them out as well is because of what's below it. Have a look at this. So we've got Sword and Shield base, kind of rare, 2 Elite Trainer boxes. We're going for $250 for the 2. Below it, a normal, not a PC, a normal 151 Elite Trainer box going for double the price. 151 is in the era after. It was a lot heavier printed than these guys, and yet it is double the price for one. So it is quadruple the price of this. I just thought that was a very interesting observation about a point that I've brought up quite a bit over the last few weeks, that it will become more and more important to invest in the best in class sets, even if you pay a premium to get into them. This is much older. This was printed a lot more. It is quadruple the price of these. And it's not like these are about everywhere. These are rare in comparison to a 151 Elite Trainer box. Just thought that was really interesting. Anyway, lots talked about today. I hope you enjoyed the episode. Please follow me on all the socials. We've got the Instagram. We've got the Facebook page now as well. Link in the bio to all of that. The Facebook page kind of ties everything together. It's going to show all the Instagram content, all the Facebook content, all the YouTube content. Everything's just going to be there as a hub. It's all completely free. You won't catch me charging for a paid Discord to show you content. I do have a paid service through YouTube Join Club, though. That is just for you to support the channel if you want. And I do provide some perks over Instagram. But otherwise, all of my content is completely free for all you guys. All that I ask is, if you've got this far through the video, please do hit the like button. And if you haven't subscribed already, make sure you subscribe down below to never miss an opportunity. Hope you all have a wonderful day, and peace.